Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 37 of IcoPod. I'm Bob Colling Jr., and always with me is some dude over here, Austin Skinner from, I guess, Orlando, Florida, whatever.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. He's a real weird guy.
Yeah, kind of a creeper. I tried doing my best Lance Russell impersonation at the beginning, but then I said, fuck it.
I kind of picked up on it, but then you ditched it quick.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, you're the asshole who was like, hey, Bob, wake up by noon on your day off to record. Because we usually record at like 6 p.m. when I've been awake for the entire day. And now it's like, oh, hey. And then you made me wait for like 20 minutes.
Damn right. You wait for perfection, buddy.
Yeah.
You don't rush greatness.
That's some fucking horse shit.
Right. Well, regardless, things that are not horseshit, we have a new plug man here on IcoPod, Bob. We went over it briefly on our most recent bonus episode. That'll probably be released sometime in 2020. So definitely watch out for that with our buddy Joe Fortune. However, over on YouTube, we have a new YouTube we've linked up with a YouTuber who does retro gaming videos, a lot of old wrestling you'll see on there. He's a wrestling fan, and I'm a fan of his channel, so we've kind of linked up, joined forces, and that's Entropic Decay Gaming over on YouTube. Guy named Lance Cassidy. He's a really cool guy, and he's plugging our show now. He's got all of our links in his YouTube descriptions, and I may or may not be paying him for that. Or he might just really like the show. But that's for you to determine. So definitely check out his YouTube videos. Like I said, I watch, and I'm trying to get Bob to at least like the guy's Facebook, because I think that's only the courteous thing to do. But of course, Bob's being a real ass about it.
I got a big time the guy. All right. Has he liked IcoPod? Has he liked IcoPod?
No.
Thank you. So fuck this guy. Although thank you for plugging the shows and stuff. And speaking of plugs, you may have listened back at the SummerSlam Spectacular that there was a familiar voice that was telling you to listen to the show you're already listening to.
Oh, yes.
And that would be none other than Billy Gunn.
Damn right.
Who I may or may not have paid $40 to do that. Or he just really liked the show.
Right. Yeah. I think that was more. He kind of came to us and was like, listen, I've won tag team championships. I've won intercontinental championships. Nothing will amount to the pure joy I will get from recording your opening. So please let me do it. And we were like, I don't know. It's Billy Gunn. He kind of sucks. We were like, all right, you know what, Billy, we're going to make your dream come true. We're going to do you justice here. Please record our opening. And he jumped all over it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think Billy Gunn sucks.
Well,
he's really not bad. I was actually thinking about reaching out to Charles Wright, also known as Papa Shango, and having him do it in Papa Shango's voice.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be kind of funny.
That would be cool. But I would like 1, 2, 3 Kid too.
Okay, yeah, Sean Wallman.
You know, we could pop him some booze money.
Yeah. Well, I think he's off the booze. But so needless to say, you'll be hearing that probably for, I don't know, the next million episodes. Or unless I find someone at a reasonable price to do it, someone else to do it.
So there you go. I mean, that's been a big uphill battle for IcoPod. We finally achieved it, you know.
Yeah, if Lex Luger were ever to show up on one of those things, I'd probably give him all my life savings and just be like, hey, Lex, do it.
Right. So that's about $35. So Lex,
right,
hit us up. Speaking of hitting us up for money, Bob, I believe this episode we can confirm that Hogan 98 money has not been spent.
That is correct.
Redesign your website. Dallas Gridley has missed out on the opportunity of a lifetime. $100 cold hard cash.
Yeah.
And he didn't get it. He didn't listen to the podcast, just as I pretty much expected.
Yeah, shows what a great friend he is.
Yeah, the bet's off.
Support his friends and listen to IcoPod.
Right, Bob has officially won that bet. So
yeah,
so
he'll have to do it for free.
Right, exactly. That's how he's gonna have to pay you to design it. So we're crossing a lot of T's and dotting a lot of I's on this episode, which is good. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I don't know what you said. You froze up, which usually means that my Google chat thing here, Hangout, will crash in any minute.
Well, what I said, Bob, Bub.
Bub. Nice.
Yeah. Bub Bagwell. No, what I said, Bob, was we're dotting a lot of I's and crossing a lot of T's on this episode of the podcast. So
yeah. So again, just a forewarning. Usually, whenever Austin freezes up on me like that, this whole thing will crash and then I'll pop up again. So if this happens to be another episode where it's Bob flips out about something, that will be the cause of it. And I don't have anything open. I just have my notes and this fucking Google Hangout thing, so I can't be blamed for any of this.
I think you just suck. That's the problem.
Well, thank you, Austin. You're just a peach of a guy. If anybody else wants to tell me that I suck, you can email me or email us, I guess, but I'm the only one that fucking reads them. Is at icopodcast@gmail.com. Mike Campbell hits me up on there all the time. We'll have some of his thoughts shown on here sometime in the future. And then you can also go to the Facebook page, IcoPod, and chat with us there. Sometimes I'll post things on there like, hey, what do you guys think about this person? And then people will respond. And we'll discuss that here on the show this week and next week regarding some new faces coming into the area. I'm treating the WWF like a territory. Into the WWF. Wow. The biggest show on earth. So we got all that shit out of the way. And let's just get on with the show here.
Yeah, let's do it, Bob.
All right. So we got some observer notes as per usual. Lex Luger suffered an injury on August 31st in a match with Shawn Michaels. The only details provided is that it was a back injury. If he misses any TV time, the credit will likely be given to Ludwig Borga.
What a bitch. Crying about his back. He probably got a scratch. He's got a little boo-boo sticker on it. Suck it up, Buttercup.
You don't have any compassion for anybody.
Get in the ring.
Beat Yokozuna by pinfall, not by countout, bitch.
Yeah. Ho.
Yeah. Oh, I won by countout. Oh, I'm the WWF World Champion. No.
My life was so hard, my dad.
He made me choose between chorus and music. I was a football player, but only because my dad. I didn't ever ask out a girl. Get the fuck out of here.
Oh, boy.
Speaking of SummerSlam, it is said to have done between a 1.1 and a 1.3 buy rate. The number would be considered a disappointment as it is down 35% compared to 1992. Now, mind you, 1992, they still had some big stars.
Yeah, for sure.
Like Savage and Warrior.
Bulldog,
Brett.
Yeah.
So that shouldn't be really all that surprising.
Right.
And the Legion of Doom, too. Gotta include those. Sabu was penciled in for a tryout, but he was in Japan. So I guess you can't make a tryout if you're in a different country.
Well, oh well. Imagine a Sabu in 93 Raw. Who's he going to fight?
He wouldn't have lasted a week. Well, him and 1-2-3 Kid would probably be fun.
Okay, then who?
Brett.
No. Yeah. Brett versus Sabu?
Yeah.
Ugh.
That'd be good. Sean.
Maybe Sean.
Tatanka.
No.
Could be like his cousin or something.
Right. They're both Indians, just the different kind.
Yeah. He's like the savage and like Tatanka's like the friendly one.
Oh my God.
So he could tell Sabu like, hey man, don't freak out. These guys are nice.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll go with that, Bob.
Yeah, thank you. IRS was going to have a month vacation, but now he is replacing Mr. Hughes on the road because Hughes is serving a 6-week suspension.
For what?
No idea.
I think he was popping them Molly pills.
That's a heavy claim.
I don't know if that was the thing in 93, but
I don't know, man. I don't know if Molly was that big.
You heard it here first on IcoPod, brother.
That's why Mr. Hughes has vanished in 93.
Damn right.
Fucking pills.
Yeah.
Apparently, the WWF magazine mentioned that Ted DiBiase and Sherry left the company. It was noted that DiBiase had lost most of his money due to poor investments, likely in an attempt to write him off as a character and perhaps allowing a face turn should DiBiase eventually return to the company.
That's weird.
Yeah, I don't know if I would buy into DiBiase as a babyface character.
He's the $1 Million Man.
Oh, I'm broke now.
Oh,
it's okay. You're great. Oh, you don't know how to invest your money? We like you.
I'm the $3 man.
Yeah. Right.
I'm a hobo now, so
I don't know what minimum wage was back then. It probably was like I make $2.50 an hour.
Dude, tell me that wouldn't get over though. He comes back, he's got a cardboard version of the $1 Million Championship.
Oh, that'd be funny.
Dresses like a fucking bum. I'm the $3 man.
Yeah, but does that mean Virgil would come out and be like, "That's my $3 championship"?
Oh, they would definitely fight over it.
I'll see you at WrestleMania 10.
Yes, absolutely. Book it.
How can you go wrong? We have one house show to talk about, probably pretty quickly here. It is from September 11th, 1993, Boston, Massachusetts at the Boston Garden. Roughly 4,800 fans were in attendance. The card featured Doink the Clown taking on the 1-2-3 Kid, Razor Ramon squaring off against IRS, WWF Tag Team Champions Steiner Brothers defending against Head Shrinkers, Undertaker taking on Adam Bomb, WWF Intercontinental Champion Shawn Michaels teaming up with Diesel to take on Mr. Perfect and Marty Jannetty, Tatanka battling Bam Bam Bigelow in a singles match. In the main event was WWF World Champion Yokozuna defending against Bret Hart inside of a steel cage.
That sounds like a pretty damn good card.
Really strong. And again, like we've mentioned before, ever since they cut down from from 2 shows, house shows to 1, the cards have substantially gotten stronger as a result. So I can't complain with that. I'm definitely going to that show. For sure. And the whole show is strong.
Yeah, and I feel like they're even trying to try out some new kind of stuff there. Even with like the Undertaker Adam Bomb thing. Like that sounds pretty interesting. Yeah. Especially coming off the conversation we had a couple episodes ago with, hey, what if Adam Bomb was Kane kind of thing? Well, There you go. Maybe that's the preview. That's the setup.
That's the formation of Kane.
It's the lead in, buddy.
Yeah, great. No, plus Razor Ramon IRS. That's a new one there.
Yep.
So,
and that makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it does. So we would both go to that show. Pretty simple. Syndication notes. There's only one thing. Now, mind you, there's 2 weeks here, obviously, before Raw returned. SummerSlam was on the 30th. There was no show on September 6th. So the next Raw is on September 13th. So you would think maybe there would be a lot of syndication that went on, anything noteworthy, and no, that's not the case. So the only thing that really happened that should be talked about is that on the September 4th edition of Superstars, Jim Cornette really put a focus on the fact that there is a no rematch clause for Luger, and that means he will not be getting another shot at the WWF World Championship. Of course, Luger, again, I feel like we've mentioned this before, had said, I only need one shot.
Yeah.
So he shouldn't have to he shouldn't be all that upset because he signed up for it. He didn't need more than one.
I'm putting you on the spot. We're pausing the podcast.
Okay.
You're the booker. How do you get out of this? How do you get a rematch between these two? How do you get out of this conundrum?
Well, there's the obvious way. And it comes in January.
Okay, besides that.
How do you get out of it?
Yeah, how do you get Luger his rematch, despite the fact that he signed on the dotted line, that he doesn't get a rematch?
I don't know. Sounds like you're just, you're backed into a corner.
My immediate thought is to have I don't know, like an official going over the contract with Luger again. Listen, this is what it is. Even if you played into Luger sitting with his lawyer and is trying to figure this out, just have Luger rip up the fucking paper. Just rip it up.
How do you get? So you're saying, how does he get a rematch despite the no
signing for a no rematch clause? Yeah,
right.
I'd do that. I think the crowd would pop for that if he ripped up the contract and was like, "No, I'm having a rematch."
Well, how about this? You could be on a technicality, be like, "Yeah, no rematch if I lost, but I didn't lose. I beat you."
Yeah, on a DQ. Yeah, or a count out. Yeah.
Yeah. So it'd be different. If you were to lose, yeah, you can't get. But I didn't lose.
Right. You can make that argument.
So.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't see. That's why you don't do those stipulations unless the guy fucking wins.
Right. Unless, right. Because now, like you said, you're booked into a fucking corner.
Yeah. Or if you got to find maybe a way to piss them off enough, like Cornette or whatever, just make them so angry that they're like, you know what, Yokozuna will kill you at Survivor Series.
Fine, we'll just do it, kind of thing. Yeah. Either way, though, I think Luger looks like a chump out of all three of those. Like Luger still looks like a chump for this.
Well, he never should have said that he would only need one shot.
Well,
because he failed.
Yeah.
So I can't trust him because he failed.
Brady's a liar.
Yeah. And I don't like liars.
Even though he's still much better than the narcissist.
You hear that, Donald Trump? I don't like liars.
Wow.
You hear that, Brett Kavanaugh? I don't like liars.
Wow, we're getting political on the show.
You like that? I
No.
don't like liars. You know that? Hey, Clinton. I don't like liars. Okay. Pinocchio. I don't like fucking liars.
Oh shit. That's going too far, Bob.
That was one cut deep. I know.
Oh fuck.
So on Facebook, I recently made a post here about.
Hey, Mad Monk. I don't like fryers.
I don't like Bastion Booger. I don't like boogers. I don't like belly buttons, man. Hey, Razor Ramon. I hate razors.
Yeah.
You know
Dick.
that.
Sean, I hate hearts.
Yeah. Hey, Bret Hart. I don't like hitmen. You know that. They sketch me out.
What are you
Undertaker. I hate funerals. Why do you keep on bringing a casket? Oh my god. Atom bomb. You know I have a nuclear like subconscious. I'm fucking scared of fucking nuclear plants and bombs. What the hell's wrong with you? Steiner Brothers. You know I hate brothers.
You know I hate Michigan.
Yeah. I hate the colors blue and yellow. Ugh.
Together on one jacket.
Yeah, half and half. Goddamn. IRS. You know I hate federal government.
Yeah, Mr. Hughes, fuck sunglasses.
Yeah, you don't wear those inside.
I like burning my retinas.
Yeah, Luna Vachon, you know I don't like transsexuals. How fucking dare you? God.
Shit.
Bam Bam Bigelow, you know I don't like, flames on a head.
Yeah,
tattoos. Yeah. I don't know what else is there. 1, 2, 3 kid, you know I don't like children.
You know I don't like counting.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. What's it comes after 3? God, he just stops at 3? How am I supposed to learn?
Bobby, you know I don't like brain.
Yeah. Macho Man, Randy Savage, you know I'm not macho. Nothing little bitch. God.
Mints, you know I don't like steroids. Stop.
Ludwig Borga, you know I don't like Finland.
Yeah.
Wherever. Helsinki, yeah. Whatever. Giant Gonzalez, you know I don't like spray painted tights that make you look like you have muscles, but you really don't have muscles.
Yeah,
George.
Hairy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Harvey Whippleman, you know I don't like you.
Deep voices for very small men.
Yeah, that doesn't really fit well. That's true.
Dick.
Mr. Perfect, you know I don't like people who think they're perfect, conceited much.
Yeah, even though you think you're a good guy, but people still chant for Shawn Michaels during your matches.
Yeah, we'll get into that one. That was pretty bad. Okay, so I did a topic on Facebook, and I was curious as to what other people thought because I might do this moving forward, especially when there's new talent coming in. So recently, the Quebecers had made their debut, and on this episode, they kind of have a major role played into it. So I asked, what was some people's thoughts on the Quebecers? And I got a few responses here. So I'll just read them off real quick. Michael Vincent considered them a great tag team, loved their own rules, all in caps. So he's super excited. Johnny B. Smith loved them as well, though the partnership with Johnny Polo worked well, or thought the partnership with Johnny Polo worked well. I don't know how to read. Don't think they had the best opponents, though, during their first run, sadly. Daniel Zhang, best theme song ever, and very impressed by their abilities in the ring. Joe Mitchell, looking back, they seem a bit out of place to me. They were a 3-time tag team champion in an era where very few made it to that level. It's strange to me that a tag team that appeared seemingly out of nowhere took the title from the Steiners in September 93, spoiler alert, and by the spring of 94, they were all but done in the WWF. Both the Quebecers and Steiner Brothers. Maybe I just don't like how they were booked. They did what all good tag team heels do and should be recognized for that. And then Mike Campbell, I remember Jacques as the Mountie, so I didn't understand why they weren't the Mounties.
That's a fair point.
Because they're not the Mounties. If you must know, Mike Campbell, God.
Well,
here's questioning everything.
Here's my 2 cents on these jack wagons. Okay. Okay, it's the new generation. You're doing a youth movement.
I don't know. I don't think that's I don't think that's happened yet. I think that's next year.
Okay, well, you're bringing a tag team from the 1980s.
One half of them is
to face 90s teams. It's just like a step backwards.
No, it's not. Listen, Jacques is from the 80s. Yes. Pierre is a youngin.
No, they're very 80s style of wrestling.
Get out of here.
Character-wise, in the ring, it's 1980s.
I feel like this is another one where we're going to clash pretty bad, and this might be the end of the podcast as a result.
Yeah, because I'm going to come through the computer and hit you with a fucking shock stick.
I'm going to come through and hit you with a hockey stick.
Well, no, man, I don't, because first of all, if you're going to give me a 1980s tag team, I'd much rather it be Money Inc. at this point.
They're not even an 80s team. They didn't form until 92.
It's 80s style of wrestling, Bob.
My God.
And they're
There's
both
no
80s
way.
guys, okay? So I don't want to hear it.
Pierre is not from the 80s. He's just not.
Well, whatever.
He's not. And the style of wrestling is not 80s.
Oh, my God. I've heard it all now.
Are you all right? Well, you know, when we go through this match, I will point out how after every kind of big move, I'll be like, how the fuck is that the 80s? How about that?
That sounds good to me, Bob.
And you need to defend it. So, mind you, the match is pretty damn long, so that might be a long one that we talk about. So, here we are, Raw 9/13/93, live, Manhattan Center, Manhattan, New York. Vince McMahon, Bobby Heenan, Randy Savage, welcome everyone to the program. McMahon promotes what will be on the show, which includes a Quebec Province match between the Steiner Brothers defending the tag titles against the Quebecers. And there are rules for the match, and they are the following. The title can be lost on disqualification. The title can be lost by countout. Pile drivers are illegal. Jumping off the top rope is illegal. And throwing an opponent over the top rope is illegal. Pretty much all the rules that were in WCW at the time.
I was going to say, so Bill Watts booked this one.
Yeah, exactly. That is kind of what's going on here. I don't know how I feel about those rules to begin with, because you know they're just going to be like, you know, they'll tease it throughout the entire match.
Well, yeah, something's going to happen when you do something like that.
Yeah. So we'll get into that. Bobby Heenan believes there will be new tag team champions. Randy Savage disagrees and thinks the Steiner Brothers will leave as champions. No surprises there. That leads us to our first match of the evening. It is the WWF Tag Team Champions Steiner Brothers defending against the Quebecers in a Quebec Province Rules match. Ladies and gentlemen, sit back and relax because this is going to take a while. Rick and Jacques start the title match off. Jacques starts with some knee strikes in the corner, but Rick delivers a power slam and clothesline, which almost sends Jacques over the top rope. So we're like 10 seconds in, and we're already teasing that a disqualification could take place.
Is his last name Strap?
No, it is not. You fucking god damn it. Way to disrespect Jacques Rougeau. Fucking Strap. And you know what? Someone's got to say that in a promo, right?
You gotta.
Hey, Jacques, Strap. Like Men on a Mission, right? They're going to. Mo, the head, Jacques Strap. Okay. Rick tags in Scott as Pierre is also tagged in. Scott plants Pierre with a double underhook powerbomb for a 2 count. Heenan screams out, "That's a pile driver!" And then like McMahon's like, "No," and he's like, "Well, I thought it was. It looked like it to me." You know, just trying to get that heel heat here. Scott keeps control of Pierre on the mat with a front face lock, and then he runs into a boot in the corner, and Pierre comes off the middle rope with a clothesline for a 2 count. Pierre comes off the ropes with a diving headbutt for another 2 count. Scott backdrops Pierre, and Jacques gets brought into the ring. Rick wants to go for a pile driver, but Scott has to remind him, "Hey, man, don't do that. We'll lose the titles." So Rick decides to deck Jacques with a right hand as we go to commercial.
Is that the first time that Rick teases he's going to do something illegal in the match?
Yes, I believe so, because then later on, I think he tries to go to the top or something.
Okay.
Jacques knee lifts Rick against the ropes, but he can't hit a power slam. Rick sends Jacques through the middle rope to the floor. Pierre tags into the match, and Scott returns as well. Scott takes Pierre down to the mat with a side headlock. Pierre yanks Scott down by his hair to gain control of the contest. Pierre continues with overhand strikes. Scott catches Pierre with an overhead belly-to-belly suplex for a 2 count. Scott locks in a half Boston Crab, but Pierre isn't going to give in to that. Jacques enters to club Scott over the head to save his partner.
Yeah, real quick, too. At this point, Vince on commentary was like messing up his words. So he stumbles on saying a sentence, and Randy just goes, "Couldn't have said it better myself." So he's like making fun of Vince during this. So I liked that. I thought that was pretty noteworthy. A little bit of jabbing back and forth between Vince and Savage is always kind of cool to see.
Well, I think I noticed that as well because when I was watching it, because I feel like McMahon tries to be a perfectionist.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
I wonder if he was like messing up. He was like, "Fucking goddamn it, redo the whole damn show." You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's funny too because I feel like Vince and Savage have a very different kind of relationship. It almost reminds me of the Vince and Shawn relationship that we'd get into in the coming years, where I think Vince lets Savage get a little away with a little bit more,
Right.
which is cool. It's kind of cool to see where they were at. It's unfortunate that
Would you consider it like McMahon and Hogan being like the McMahon Hart and the McMahon Savage being the McMahon Michaels?
Yeah, I think
That
that's
type
a
of deal?
perfect. Yeah, I think that's a perfect kind of analogy there. Yeah, I would say so for sure because Brett's more or less. I think he respects Brett in a different way, to whereas Savage, I think he's almost wants to be buddies with Randy Savage, just like same with Shawn. He wants to be buddies with Shawn.
Right. Yeah.
Where I think he respected Hogan, he respected Brett, that sort of thing.
Yeah, for sure. Rick enters and puts the same move on. Jacques decks Rick to break the hold, and then Rick puts the hold on again. Rick tags in Scott, and Scott delivers an elbow drop for a 2 count. Johnny Polo, at this point, has come to ringside as Rick hit a belly-to-belly suplex on Pierre. Rick almost comes off the top rope, but comes off the middle rope and lands on Pierre's knees. Mind you, I think Pierre forgot to put his knees up because Rick landed on the knees and had to sell it because Pierre didn't put up his knees. So that was kind of a botched moment.
Yeah, it looked really weird. And so that was, I think, number 2 where Rick teased, "Oh my God, I almost threw the match out because I almost got DQ'd." So that's 2 for Rick Steiner. But yeah, when he comes off the top here, he almost turns his body in midair to at least hit the legs to make it look like, oh, that hurt. But it was really, you could tell there was something miscued there.
Yeah, it was almost on the level of like a Too Cold Scorpio and just how gracefully he was in the air and then proceeded to land on knees.
Yeah.
You know, he almost did it better than Scorpio.
He did do it, in my opinion, better than Scorpio.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He'll be in the light heavyweight division in WCW in no time.
Next week, yeah.
Pierre works over Rick with stomps in the corner, and then he hooks Rick for a suplex off the middle rope, but Rick slams Pierre off. Jacques tries to elbow drop Rick, but misses and then hits his own partner. Pierre rolls to the floor and huddles with Jacques and Polo as we go to another commercial. Scott and Jacques are legally in the match with Pierre decking Scott from the apron and Jacques delivering a strike. I like saying Jacques. Scott gets yanked down to the mat and Jacques slams Pierre on top. Pierre press slams Jacques onto Scott for a 2 count. How is that 80s wrestling?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not, right?
No, so basically up until this point, we've gotten rest hold headlocks on the mat. We've gotten suplexes, punches, confusing tags in and out where there's really no tag format. Guys are just coming in as their partner gets leveled. It's 80s wrestling.
Well, this is unfortunate. Scott gets dropped throat first over the top rope and then gets his hand stuck in the ropes, at least briefly. Jacques slaps Scott and then taunts Rick to allow Pierre to work over Scott. Pierre comes off the ropes to clothesline Scott, while Jacques delivered a leg sweep for a 2 count. Pierre comes off the middle rope to splash Scott, and then Jacques returns to the match. Jacques hits a spinning elbow shot on Scott. Scott tries to fight back with a kick to drop Jacques. Pierre slams Scott, and Jacques backdrops Pierre onto Scott, but Pierre isn't the legal man, so the count attempt doesn't really matter here. Scott drops Jacques with a DDT to stop his momentum. Rick goes after Pierre, but he wasn't tagged in. Scott gets dumped to the floor, and then Johnny Polo teases that he's going to hit Scott, but he doesn't hit him with the hockey stick. Jacques delivers a double leg slam, and then Pierre delivers a leg drop off the ropes. Jacques keeps a Boston Crab on Scott. Rick enters the match, and he slams Pierre off the middle rope. Scott clotheslines the Quebecers and begins to crawl to his corner. Rick gets tagged in and then cleans house with some scoop slams. Scott drop kicks both men. Scott hits the Frankensteiner on Pierre, but Jacques breaks up the count. Rick then decks Polo off the apron. Jacques has the hockey stick and tries to hit Scott, but Scott blocks it. So Scott proceeds to whack him over the back with the hockey stick, and the referee saw it. So guess what that means? That's a disqualification. The Quebecers are the new WWF Tag Team Champions. Who would have thunk it?
Yeah.
What did you think of that, Austin?
So just to run the roll back here a little bit, the DDT that Steiner hit on Jacques, it looked like he forced him to take it. He was like cranking his neck and held him into the DDT. It almost looked like Jacques didn't want to take a DDT. So I thought that was interesting. This whole match was kind of hard to follow for me, just because like the whole convoluted rules, the basically there was a tag format when it was convenient for the match. When it wasn't, guys would just come in, like I was saying earlier. So let's say, Jacques would get punched down to the mat. He'd roll out, Pierre would come in, and it was almost like a lucha libre match where, and typically in those tag teams, there really is no tag format. It's really once your partner's down, you go in to kind of carry the momentum over, basically. So I don't know, how much I liked that part of it. The finish is very like, it feels dated. Like, oh, the heels are going to get away with it. And oh, the babyface got caught kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I didn't necessarily like that. I don't think Polo is a good fit for the Quebecers. Like, what does he have to do?
He's a better fit than with Adam Bomb, I think.
Well, yeah, of course. I'll give you that one. But still, I don't like how they're really, really trying to use Polo here. I would have rather had Jimmy Hart. If you're going to do an 80s team, bring in Jimmy Hart to manage them. Or something, you know what I mean? Something like that. Especially because he's got a history with the Mountie and stuff like that.
Right. Oh, yeah. Well, what about how about Harvey Whippleman? Could you see him like as a goofy looking Quebecer or a Mountie?
Put it this way, if they had him on the mic singing with them and stuff, that'd be pretty funny.
That would be, yeah.
That would work, I think. Yeah, I don't know, man. You know what? And it's going to kind of sound hypocritical here, but first of all, I hate that the Steiners keep being the guys to like lose the belts in such easy fashion. Like they always just lose them all the time and then get them back and then lose them again. That's
80s wrestling.
Yeah, but I want like solid, concise reigns for them. They deserve it.
Well, they had the belt since like June.
Yeah, but it's like on and off with everybody all the time. With that said, though, I think a title change on Raw is interesting. Like it kind of keeps it must see a little bit, if the title belts are switching hands, which is a good thing. But at the same time, I really wish it wasn't the Steiners who are kind of succumbing to this sort of booking. Nonetheless, it was a solid opening match. I think it did go quite a bit longer than it probably needed to. We saw a couple rest holds we could probably do without. Yeah, I don't know, man. I was kind of split on this one. At this point, I don't have much interest in the Quebecers.
Oh my god!
I'd much rather see Jacques, a singles guy, doing the Mountie thing, because I think at least he would add depth to kind of the mid card roster at this point. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about this one. I don't know how I feel.
You always find a way to disappoint me.
I don't like that them being. Actually, like one of our listeners said, I don't like, and I don't believe the fact that Quebecers come out of nowhere and beat the Steiners for the belts. I feel like that was a missed opportunity. They could have maybe made a feud out of it or something if they were going to do that. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, they technically didn't beat the Steiners. The Steiners beat themselves.
Well, regardless, they're walking out with the tag belts.
Right. Well, they outsmarted them. It's fine. Personally, this is one of my favorite Raw matches of the year.
What?
It is. It's a match I've always enjoyed.
Holy crap.
All the rules, all the other nonsense. Really, I mean, there's some quality tag team wrestling. Quebecers showing off. They can do like backdrops together, double team moves. It's pretty good. And I think it sets up a pretty decent feud with now the Steiner Brothers chasing after the Quebecers to get the tag titles. I've always liked the Quebecers. I've always liked Pierre. You can do some really fun
Pierre
stuff.
Out of both of them?
Yeah, I prefer Pierre.
Oh my God, Bob.
Yeah. PCO.
I like him the least.
You know that Pierre is PCO, right?
Yes, I know.
Okay. Yeah.
I like Jacques better.
No way. I can't do it.
And I have to ask you, too, since you just brought up tag moves, tell me you like when partners throw themselves on the other team, like a back suplex of your partner onto the other guys.
I mean, to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
I fucking hate it. I
do
that.
like it though. It's a cool visual.
God, no.
Yeah, it's like, hey man, I'm gonna scoop slam you onto this guy. All right.
No, it's like you're doing moves on your partner.
You are, but onto another guy.
That's stupid.
No, it's all right.
So you're telling me if I have a gun.
Yeah. A smoking gun.
No. I have a gun.
All right.
And I'm going to shoot through a guy to kill another guy. You're like, oh, fuck, that was awesome.
That'd be pretty cool. Yeah,
you would have
killed 2 people.
No, what the fuck?
That's pretty cool.
Dumb.
No, that's pretty cool.
No, fuck that.
I think that's pretty cool.
My God.
So, hey, at least you still thought it was solid. I think it's one of the better matches of the year on Raw.
That blows my mind. I said it was a solid opening match.
Yeah, I think it's one of the best matches.
That's insane.
Do you remember, like, years ago, I had you watch this match?
No.
Yeah, I did. When you came over one day at my old house, and you're like, yeah, man, let's watch some, like 93 WWF. And we watched, like, the Savage Doink the Clown match from June. You're like, oh, that was pretty cool. And I was like, yeah, man, here's a tag match with the Steiner Brothers and Quebecers. And you enjoyed it.
Really?
Yeah.
I have no memory of that.
Yeah. This was like 5 years ago, but it happened.
First of all, for our listeners, my memory, dude, is horrible. I forgot where one of my friends lived for the longest time because he moved houses like twice. And he would always talk about, yeah, we were hanging out. Remember that house? And I'd be like, no, like, I don't remember you living there. So that's like my memory. It's horrible. I think
both of our memories are pretty shitty because if, like, on this podcast, I think we'll say, like, oh, this was good. And then 3 episodes later, be like, that was not good.
Yeah. Remember how much that sucked?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, my memory's bad.
It's like, okay.
Yeah. My memory's bad. So that might explain that. But as far as one of the, okay. So let me ask you this. Do you think this match was better than the Flair Perfect match?
Yes.
Oh my fucking God.
I do.
Oh my God. Yeah, we're on total different pages there then, Bob.
I would say this is better than Flair Perfect. To me, Flair Perfect was not that great.
I'd say that's still the second best match we've seen on Raw.
Flair and Perfect?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Well, the first one.
What?
What's the first best that we've seen?
Well, probably Shawn and Jannetty.
No.
What, Brett and Fatu?
Yeah.
Okay.
Easily.
So, well, I would say the second Shawn Jannetty match was pretty good.
I would probably put that third. I'd probably put that third.
So here, let's just talk this through for a minute. Brett Fatu is better than Flair Perfect.
Yes.
Both of the Jannetty Michaels matches are better than Flair Perfect.
Definitely not both.
I will say both. I will say the 1-2-3 kid against Razor Ramon from May 17th is better than Flair Perfect.
I don't know. That was so short, though. How can you put it there?
The 2 out of 3 falls match, Jannetty and Doink the Clown, is better than Flair Perfect.
Yeah, that was a good one. All of those matches above that?
I would say Yokozuna against Crush was better than Flair Perfect.
No, I disagree. I disagree.
This isn't about you. This is about me. I would say the Steiner Brothers Money Incorporated Steel Cage match is better than Flair Perfect.
Oh, fuck off with that.
I'm telling you.
That match was ass.
No, it was not. That was a good match.
No, it made no sense. There's no concise story.
It have to make sense. Bret Hart against Bam Bam Bigelow was better than Flair Perfect.
No.
Man, I'm telling you. Repo Man against Randy Savage was better than Flair Perfect.
Okay, Bob, we're done. We're done here.
Bullshit. Well, we go to the commentary table where Vince, Randy, and Bobby talk about the match that we just saw, and Heenan brags that he knew that this would happen. He's, I told you the Quebecers.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Speaking of one of the guys involved in the highly overrated match that Austin Skinner seems to enjoy so much, Mr. Perfect was in singles action as he took on Tony DeVito. What do you have on this match, Austin?
Oh, it's a barn burner, folks.
Yeah.
So back from break, like Bob says, the three at the commentary table go over what we just saw, and Tony DeVito's already in the ring waiting, and he hails Bob from Poughkeepsie, New York.
Poughkeepsie.
So I made sure I made note of that. Mr. Perfect comes out. He gets kind of a regular entrance, regular reaction. Nothing crazy, nothing like noteworthy of. It's just kind of a stale reaction, at most. So getting right into the action here, DeVito tried to get himself over on the outside after taking it to Perfect a little bit to open up the match. But Perfect was able to recover and chased him towards like the back arena. So, they start the match. It starts off pretty hot. DeVito's lighting Perfect up, goes out, kind of plays to the crowd. Perfect recovers, is like, oh no, fuck that. Chases him towards the back. All right, so that's kind of how we're starting this one. Back into the arena. So Perfect, finds DeVito, pulls him back out from the curtain, gets him back into the ring. A Perfect sucks chant broke out.
Finally.
Perfect sucks. As DeVito took back momentum. So it's like, who's the fucking job guy here?
Right.
Mr. Perfect or Tony DeVito? Like, what is going on? This is crazy. Perfect was able to gain the momentum back with a horrible drop kick. So now not only is he getting Perfect suck chance, he's flubbing in the ring. This is like, it's like Bizarro World. It was very weird. I literally have it noted. Something seemed off here with Mr. Perfect because it ain't looking good in this match. We then got a "We Want Sean" chant, and let me tell you, it was fucking loud.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure the whole Manhattan Center was chanting it at Mr. Perfect. So instead, Perfect's trying to get back into his swing of, signature moves. He does the knee, yells out, "Now you're going to see a Perfect plex," kind of almost to maybe cut the fans down. Like, oh, you want Sean? Well, now you're going to see a Perfect plex. And he indeed hit his finish and got the pin. And he was visibly frustrated after the finish for sure, because I don't know if Perfect was expecting to get such a dynamic negative reaction during this match. And I'll tell you what, I know for sure I wasn't expecting it, because up until this point, I thought Perfect was one of the most over guys on the roster, really. So he gets just a recap here. He gets a Perfect sucks chant. He's flubbing moves. They do a huge "We Want Sean" chant. And I don't know. It's like Tony DeVito and Mr. Perfect were on the same playing field in this match, which is like, what the fuck are you talking about? But that's what it was. Very weird. Very Mr. Perfect, what's going on sort of things flashing in my head. I don't know, Bob. What did you think of this one?
Well, I can't say that I'm surprised about the fans chanting that he sucks. And I want to point out that like the super fan guy, like Jorge or whatever.
Yeah, the muscle shirt guy who's always in the front row. Yeah.
I think his name is Jorge. I could be wrong, but I get that. Or is it Jorge?
I don't know. He's there at every Raw, though.
I'm probably wrong on that, but everybody will know who I'm talking about. In the 90s, he was on every freaking show. So
dude, you see him on camera every episode.
Yeah. He was like leading the chant.
Yeah.
And he got the entire hard camp side to be like,
And I think Bob has crashed out here. He must have gotten the backlash from the Perfect plex. Talking shit, Bob. That's what you get. So that's why you crashed out, motherfucker. But yeah, no, it was crazy. Like, I'm surprised Bob thought that this one you could kind of expect for Mr. Perfect, because I definitely didn't. When I was watching, I was like, holy shit, what's going on here? Why are these guys so all over Mr. Perfect? And they really, really were. So hopefully Bob rejoins us here again. Let's see. After he's talking all this mess. See, that's what he gets. That's what he gets. Bob, are you alive and with us? Let's try to re-invite him. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, he was right here too. Like, the main guy who was kind of leading the chant was that super fan. He's always got like the muscle shirt on. He's kind of darker skinned, like a brush haircut. If you've seen WWF Raw 1993, you've seen this guy in the front row for sure. So there's that. Bob, are you with us yet? Are you alive? I've sent you an invite and you're not accepting it. What is going on? I think it's because of the Quebecers thing. I think he's mad. He's probably not going to rejoin us because he's a real ass. Bob, are you with us? Bob calling. Hello. Let's try and invite him again, folks. It's live. We're live here on IcoPod. We leave the flubs in. We leave the crashes in because you know what? Damn it. It's real. We're the real deal. I'm going to try and invite him again here, and we'll see what happens. PCO Pierre, get the hell out of here. Shock is way better with that bullshit. Damn it, Bob, where are you? Uh-oh, he's texting me, folks. Let's see what he says. Let's see. He says, fuck, hang on. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to fuck and then hang on. Me and the fans, it's just us, solo. We're fucking and hanging on, according to Bob Colling Jr., guys. So we'll see. We'll see how long it takes him to rejoin. I think it's his computer at this point. I think because he's got one of like the older MacBooks, and it's heavily used, as we all know. Bob does quite a bit of recaps on wrestling, hence WrestlingRecaps.com. But yeah, he's constantly got all these fucking windows open. He's constantly doing shit on it. All these programs. He don't give a shit. So when you abuse your computer, that's what fucking happens. So he tells us, fuck, hang on. We'll send him one more invite. I don't know if this is helping or hurting him, me inviting him now 3 times at this point. So we'll see what happens. But hey, we're uncut. We're uncensored. We're uncooked. This is Monday Night Raw. They don't say that anymore. I think they got the hint that wasn't really working. Speaking of not working, Bob, are you live with me yet on IcoPod? At this rate, people are tuning out because the star of the show is the only one steering the ship. I don't have my first mate with me to steal it, just to keep the ship on course here. What the fuck is going on?
Are we back?
My first mate has arrived back aboard.
Oh my god! You know, I told you from the beginning that was going to fucking happen.
Well, I'll tell you what. I kept everybody pretty entertained while you were gone.
Well,
Matter of fact, you might as well just exit again because
I can't wait to edit that out. So that will be fun.
Bullshit.
So anyway, as I was talking about with Jorge or whoever he is, I'm pretty sure it's Jorge. He was leading the chant for the hard camp side. It made me wonder if Perfect should be a heel to begin with. And everybody on the podcast knows, I've been saying it since the beginning here, was that I'm not a big Perfect guy, although he kind of found some intensity back in May with the Shawn Michaels feud. But for the most part, I am not a Mr. Perfect guy. I don't really know if I ever have been. And just his reaction, he was definitely annoyed. I think he better suited as a heel to begin with. So,
see, I prefer a heel Michaels over a heel Perfect in this feud, though, don't you?
Well, I don't know. I think Perfect is better as a heel.
Yes, historically, through his career.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys who probably just should have stayed heel his whole career.
Well, the name Mr. Perfect kind of even suggests that.
Well, think of it like a Rick Rude.
Yeah.
Like he stayed heel pretty much his whole career, I would think, right? I can't think
of it. He was going to turn face in like May of '94 for WCW, but then his like back gave out on him.
Yeah.
He had a match with Sting there, but
right.
Yeah, he was a heel for the most part.
Yeah, there you go. I feel like Perfect really should have kind of stuck to the same deal. Just always stayed heel. Same with like a guy like Ric Flair. I think it always works better as a heel anyway.
Yep.
There's been guys throughout history, but I think definitely Perfect would have been one of those guys who probably should have just stayed as a bad guy.
Yeah, Ricky Steamboat's a better heel.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Bringing out his kid and family there. Was a good. He was a dick.
No.
Oh, all right. Sorry, wrong guys. Well, needless to say, that was an interesting enhancement match where like DeVito was kind of made to look equal, like you mentioned.
Yeah, it was weird.
And the crowd was all over Perfect for whatever reason. Coming out of that, we get an Ico Pro ad with Lex Luger and then a Slim Jim ad with Randy Savage.
Chips!
Vince McMahon talks with Randy Savage at the commentary table, and they talk about how Lex Luger didn't win the title at SummerSlam. McMahon seems to call Ludwig Booger.
He definitely flubs the name up a little bit.
He definitely does. Yeah. And we see footage of Borga confronting Luger. And Borga says that he's not impressed with Luger or his friends. Mind you, like the Steiner Brothers and Randy Savage, Tatanka, a bunch of those guys are in this scene. And this is taking place after SummerSlam, mind you. Right. Borga is not impressed with the USA. And he tells Luger, wait a minute, is this not right? Yeah, I am. This is right. Okay.
No, it was basically a recap of what, closed out SummerSlam.
Right. And he tells Luger that
locker room.
Yeah. And he tells Luger that if he gets in the ring with him, that he will tear him apart piece by piece, and he will break Luger's back in the ring. Now, that is important to point out, that he will break Luger's back in the ring. Because remember, Lex Luger has a back injury.
And wait, doesn't Borger do the torture rack?
Yeah, I believe that's one of his moves. Yeah,
motherfucker. Oh my god. So that's got to be the whole premise here.
I don't know. We don't know what caused. I don't know. I don't know what caused his injury yet. We don't know what happened. If it's even brought up, because they said, if he has to miss any TV time, that would be attributed to Borga.
Damn it.
That leads us to our third match of the evening. It is Razor Ramon, the bad guy, Chico, taking on the Executioner. And Bobby Heenan on commentary asks if Conan O'Brien is still on television, because at this time he was giving, a trial run on NBC. And I thought it was kind of ironic because 25 years later, I still ask the same question.
And the answer is still yes.
Yeah, he is still on TBS. I remember there was a time when I was a big Conan guy, and now I couldn't be bothered to watch him.
Well, you know who is a big Conan O'Brien fan?
Conan O'Brien.
Well, him and Dallas Gridley. Dallas loves himself some Team Coco.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I don't know why. I'm not a fan, But
he was funny for a while on NBC, but I think ever since he went to TBS, it just kind of fizzled.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
He did get screwed over, though, by Leno. Damn you, Leno.
Speaking of fizzling, let's get into this barn burner of a match.
Can't wait. So they talk about IRS and how he will be wrestling Razor Ramon soon, likely meaning that is the next program between the two. Yeah, well, who knows? We'll see how that goes. Ramon dominates the match with a choke slam and a fallaway slam. Then he proceeds to hit a middle rope back suplex for the win. If you wanted to see the Razor's Edge, don't worry. He does it after the match and then plays to the crowd.
Wow, you blew right through that one.
Well, that's all there was to it.
I have notes, Bob. Would you like me to do the match?
I'm telling you, with these squash matches, I just tune out, wait for the guys to be like, "What a maneuver," and then I pay attention.
Well, our listeners who are nostalgia fans probably would like to hear the notes.
God, I hate the listeners.
So here we go.
All right, great.
First of all, Razor came out to a pretty good reaction. He's obviously one of the most over guys on the roster. The crowd went nuts when he came out, which is good because I like me some Razor Ramon. Oppositely, the Executioner basically is a guy in all black with a do-rag for a mask. It looks fucking ridiculous. But we have seen him before, so Executioner's been on Raw before. Gimmick still looks so shit, Regardless, here we go. This was a match. So Razor hits him with a toothpick, and we were off and running for this one. Razor got his bell rung off the steps and sold on the outside. So the action spilled out to the ringside area very, very quick. And after rolling back into the ring, Executioner worked over Razor with some punches, kicks, basic stuff. Razor rifled back with a few of his own really, really good punches. He's still, like I said, one of the best guys punch-wise who throws an awesome punch. and absolutely planted the Executioner with a chokeslam. Last call off the chokeslam, saw Executioner pretty much bounce across the ring, and Razor then slapped on his abdominal stretch. And you could tell Razor was just kind of having fun with the guy at this point. He was probably just calling stuff on the fly, having a pretty relaxed match at this point. He hit a back suplex off the top, and that was the pinfall victory, just as Bob said. However, the audience really wasn't with that finish. It was quick and easy, but they weren't satisfied. So yes, after not seeing the Razor's Edge for the finish, Razor caters to the crowd and hits what they wanted to see. They cheered him like crazy, and then we went into a weird promo / commercial. So yes, it was a squash match. Razor again just out there having fun, kind of to showcase how much the crowd is really loving him at this point. And it's crazy to think about that, because look back at the beginning of the year, he's probably the biggest heel on the roster.
But yeah, one of them.
Probably right behind, say, Yoko. So it's quite a turnaround from there until now, which is cool. They did it the right way, unlike some of the other stars that we've been talking about throughout the season 1 of IcoPod.
Yeah, I mean, the match was all right. I mean, you obviously went more in depth about it. I just kind of grazed over it.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah, obviously. I do that with all the fucking squash matches. But no, I think Ramon's doing well with his babyface role, and I think he's in line for some big things moving forward. Kind of be interesting to see the growth for the character. Now, you pointed out that we go into a kind of interesting ad here, and you're right. It is a video or ad promoting Monday Night Raw, where an attractive woman is trying to seduce some goof laying in bed. She's like, "Come on, baby, it's Monday."
Yeah, he's like a bald, middle-aged man.
Kind of no, yeah, like myself. And he's just like, so no, baby, I'm tired. Long day at work, whatever. And she goes, "But it's Monday." And he's like, "Monday? What time is it?" She's like, 9. 9? Oh my God, I gotta watch Monday Night Raw. Okay, so if this ever happens to me, where I were to be like, I need to watch wrestling instead of having sex with a smoking hot woman, like, someone just needs to legitimately shoot me, because no, that should never ever happen under any circumstances.
So I think it's the whole idea here is to kind of foreshadow that Raw is more alluring than sex.
Yeah.
Which, if you really want to make Raw seem cool, you have the guy banging the girl out while they're both watching Monday Night Raw.
And he's Raw.
Yeah, he's in Raw and they're watching Raw.
Yeah, and you could even do a stupid joke where, like,
baby, should I use a condom?
No,
we're going Raw.
No. Yeah. Should I wear a condom? She's like, "No, I like it raw." And then you just have like Miss McMahon's voice, like, "Welcome to Monday Night Raw." Or like Randy Savage, like, "Ooh, yeah." And then Bobby Heenan.
See that one, Vince? What a maneuver!
And then Bobby Heenan, like, "I told you so. That's a pile driver."
Oh, fuck. That would have been awesome.
That would be a great ad.
That would be a commercial right there.
Yeah. But this is just ridiculous.
And not only that, you got to think how many kids are watching this show, and this is like the commercial that they're going with. Pretty weird.
The demographic is.
Yeah, pretty weird.
Because if I was like, 8 years old, I'd be like, what is going on?
Yeah. Yeah. And if your parents are walking in while that ad's playing, you're probably not allowed to watch Monday Night Raw anymore. Yeah,
I gotta be sticking to Live Wire or Mania or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So
interesting. Very weird. Kind of a misplaced. It's 1993, guys. We're not ready for this yet.
Yeah. No. That's just too much sexual information here. We then go back to the arena where Vince McMahon calls out Johnny Polo and the new WWF Tag Team Champions, the Quebecers. McMahon considers the win a shock, as is Polo managing them. Jacques says the Blue Jays made history, as did the Canadiens, and now they have done the same as French Canadians. Mind you, the Blue Jays won the World Series, and I guess the Canadiens won the Stanley Cup. McMahon wonders about a rematch for the Steiner Brothers. Polo says that if one of the Steiner brothers beats one of the Quebecers, that they would get a rematch. They huddle up, and they don't seem to be all that interested. The fans are interested. The Steiner brothers make their way out, but officials are stopping them on the floor. Jacques says it took them 7 years for this shot, and he says no. Steiner brothers do not get a shot. Polo decides to accept the match, but Jacques isn't happy. Pierre will be wrestling one of the Steiner brothers because he's the brute force of the team. Jacques begins to sing their theme song.
No.
So this already kind of establishing some dissension already, with Jacques not being happy with Polo's like, hey, we'll fucking do it anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of, I don't like the quickness of that, but in the storyline now of if one of them beats one of them, if one of the Steiner brothers beats one of the Quebecers and they get a title shot, it just seems convoluted now.
Right, it's like overcomplicated. They're trying to make a storyline in 1 week's worth of television.
Yeah.
It just seems too much at one time kind of thing.
Well, and it's kind of like similar storylines because you have Luger who's not allowed a rematch.
Right.
And now the Steiner brothers can't get a rematch, but they can if they beat this guy.
Right.
And that's going to be dragged out. So it's too similar now with the 2 titles or whatever. It just seems like a weird direction to go into. We then get footage of the Jerry Lewis telethon where Bobby Heenan and Randy Savage appeared. Heenan did a couple of jokes at Jerry Lewis's expense, which were kind of funny. And it's made note that the telethon made $46 million.
Yeah, I think that was a huge thing back in the the 90s or whatever. This whole, and for the WWF to have kind of exposure on it, I think was a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
But going back really, really quick to the Quebecers Steiners segment here.
Yeah.
When the Steiners first come out, there's a beep, an audible beep that you can hear of them censoring something.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
In the confusion, you can't really tell who got censored.
I would have to say Scott. It has to be Scott Steiner.
Well, so here's the thing. As the Steiners are getting led to the back by the officials after the segment's kind of ending, there's another beep censor, and it's definitely Scott Steiner. So Steiner gets censored twice here on Monday Night Raw, and it's a very nice foreshadowing of things to come because that becomes one of Steiner's signature moves more so than any move in his arsenal in the ring.
Yeah.
Is his ability to get censored and say a whole bunch of swear words.
Yeah, and sometimes he beats the censor. So
yes.
That will be over the years here. That'll be pretty funny to see. I think it's more so WCW than anything WWF. But when we get to it, we'll get to it
for sure. But you know what? It's like I said, it's interesting that this is kind of the first, because I've never heard a censor beep on Monday Night Raw to this point.
Yeah, no, I have not either. No.
So that was a very poignant thing to, I think, make note of, that this is the first episode where we get a censorship beep, and it's Scott Steiner of all people.
Right. We now go to our main event of the evening. It's Doink the Clown taking on Rich Myers. And I have to point out here that Doink got mostly a positive response during his entrance.
Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting to see. Although I think New York has always been
pro Doink. Positive. Well, you get the Doink guy in the crowd all the time and stuff, and especially in the Manhattan Center. So yeah, I think it's I think they're definitely fans of Doink for sure.
Yeah. Myers tried to attack early on, but Doink was able to hit just a belly to belly suplex, and was able to maintain control. I believe it is still Matt Bourne. Playing the character. It has not changed yet.
And it almost looked like with the belly to belly suplex that he closely over rotated. He threw the guy.
Yeah, he did toss him pretty well.
Yeah,
he did. The fans are chanting for Doink big time as Doink delivered a side slam. He then hits a German suplex and rubs Myers' face on the mat. At this point, Kona Crush calls in to the show, and McMahon is happy to talk to him. Crush says that he's bigger and stronger than he ever was, and he'll be back with the power and intensity that nobody will match.
Yeah.
Savage says that he's looking forward to seeing Crush back in action, but Crush hangs up after hearing Savage's voice.
Yeah, so just like you said, so Crush goes, brother, he is bigger and stronger than ever. He will be back better than ever. So he's putting himself over. But yeah, as soon as Savage says his line, Crush's phone, they play it off like, oh, he's breaking up.
Right.
And he said, "Oh, was that the Macho Man Randy Savage?" And Vince goes, "Yeah, Crush, it's Macho Man. He was saying he's excited to see your return." Crush's line goes dead immediately.
Yeah.
Vince blames it on satellite difficulties, but it sounded a little suspicious to me, like a hang-up. So,
yeah, I can't imagine Jim Duggan was with them.
No.
But this would be what we classify as drama.
Yes. Yeah,
So,
little Springer show action
yeah,
there.
be prepared for some drama here on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
Anyway, here, Doink the Clown won the match following the whoopee cushion. Now, Bobby Heenan comes over to Doink with a bucket full of something, and he wants Doink to toss it onto McMahon and Savage. Doink teases as if he's going to throw it at Heenan instead, but he hugs Heenan like, haha, no, man, I'm a clown. This is funny.
Right.
And he begins to go over to Savage and McMahon, and they're like, McMahon's like, no, please, no. And Savage is like, I know we had our problems, brother. Let's put it behind us.
Let's think about this for a second.
Yeah. So then Doink turns around and splashes Heenan with the bucket full of water. Heenan, in probably a state of shock, is just flaring around, slips on the water a few times. The fans certainly liked it.
They were going nuts.
Yeah, I believe
Front row, dude, was losing
they were
their fucking mind.
Yeah, they were eating it up. I believe after that they go to a commercial, what have you, and then Doink comes back out and he grabs another bucket and he tosses it into the crowd, and it's not water, it's rather confetti. And then he goes backstage. Obviously, this is signifying a face turn for Doink the Clown, who was the evil clown, one of the better characters on the program, is now being turned into arguably a loving clown. I don't know what's going to happen here, but a friendly clown.
Well, the best part that you've seemingly smoothed over here is that after doing the glitter on the fans, Doink almost slips and busts his ass.
I'm trying not to point out negativities.
Yeah, he almost slipped. And for me, this whole thing, like, I definitely picked up on the face turn. I think it was probably coming anyway, so you might as well just embrace it at this point. It sucks to see kind of what has happened to the Doink character, because I will still stand by my early statement in saying that I could have saw Doink as WWF champion heel clown, for sure.
I have a tough time seeing, especially in this era. I don't see it. I don't see a world. I can see like Intercontinental champion or something, but
I think earlier in the year, first debut Doink, I think they could have got away with it if they did it the right way. With that said, the guy's a fucking clown.
Yeah.
So you can only do so much with him anyway, I guess, if you think of it that way. Really quick here too, they were able to squeeze in a graphic with the donation line.
I swear to God, I don't mean to cut you off right now, but if people can hear this guy mowing the lawn outside my fucking window right now, they do this 4 times a week. Who the hell mows the lawn four times a week?
Yeah, I can kind of hear it. It's pretty faint.
This is fucking bullshit. I'm getting really. God damn, man. They do this all the time.
Right outside your window.
Yes. It's like, I understand winter is coming and you want to cut the grass a lot, but fucking A.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Sorry.
No, yeah, we can hear it, Bob. We can hear it.
Great.
But yeah, really quickly, I wanted to point out that I think that was what the trade-off was with the whole Jerry Lewis thing. We get the fighting muscular dystrophy, donation line graphic that pops up, and that's kind of in between this Doink segment.
Yeah.
So, there was definitely a trade-off there. But yeah, as far as the whole Doink thing, I don't know, man. The crowd seems to love it. I don't know if I love it looking back, but we'll see. I don't know how they're going to play this moving forward. I can't say that I'm looking forward to it, because I think it only goes downhill from here, honestly, with Doink.
Well, I think it comes down to when there's a different person playing the character.
Right.
So I think that will definitely play a part into it. McMahon and Savage talk about the show, and then they talk about kind of what's going on next week. Not very in-depthly or anything. That's a little bit later on here. Savage did not like the Quebecers winning the titles. We then get a Gorilla Monsoon segment here, kind of a voiceover promoting the WWF King of the Ring video game. And then we get into what's going on next week. Next week, Bam Bam Bigelow, Mr. Perfect, and IRS will be in singles action. Bret Hart will be interviewed as well. Pierre of the Quebecers is announced as being the man taking on Scott Steiner next week. And this is the match where if Scott wins, then the Steiner brothers will, in fact, get a return match.
Yeah.
And then we see highlights of Heenan getting splashed with water to close the show.
Yeah, from what they announce here, next week sounds pretty promising, I would say, for sure.
Well, they're using a lot of the same talent. Perfect again.
Yeah.
Scott and Pierre again.
Yeah.
Mind you, I believe it is in the same arena. It is, in fact, in the same arena. So it'll be interesting to see how the crowd reacts to being kind of, having those guys shoved down their throat for 3 hours.
Well, and I'd be willing to bet that the next show is taped.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, for this episode, I would consider, considering the tag title match, took up roughly half the show, and I like it a great deal. Maybe you do not, but I do. I thought it was, a solid overall show. The Perfect and, DeVito thing was kind of intriguing. Ramon had a good showing as well. A lot of focus on the Quebecer Steiner feud. Can't really hate all that. I'm not really supportive of the Doink turning face thing, but overall, I thought it was relatively productive. Nothing too bad this week.
Well, I would say this episode of Raw is pretty missable, personally.
Wow.
Other than the title change for context alone, I thought we got a lot of filler. The crowd was pretty restless with conflicting storyline chants, and there was a blaring air horn all night. That was very distracting. To be honest, I was kind of bored with this week. I didn't really do much for me this time around.
Well, it's a good thing nobody cares about your opinion.
You know what, Bob? I wish your computer would crash again. Okay.
Wow, asshole! It probably will. I don't know. I don't understand why it keeps on doing that.
Well, like I said, that's okay because I had everybody entertained for the 3 minutes that you were gone.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is that you were saying, like, I could hear you saying, "Oh, it looks like Bob is gone," and I was like, "No, I'm right here." I thought I died.
Well, yeah, you were having like an out of body experience.
Yeah, I thought I was dead, so that was kind of alarming.
I did too when I was watching this episode of Raw.
It was not that bad of an episode. Holy shit!
I thought it was boring.
I stand. Tell me what you think, guys and gals who listen to this show. Although I have yet to hear from any female fans, so I doubt that that's even happening. Did you enjoy the Quebecers and Steiner Brothers? I think it's a pretty damn good match. It's a pretty good story.
What?
Yeah.
Let's
flood out Austin.
That's a deep cut. What's the good story?
That you can't get DQ'd, you can't get counted out. You can't
oh my fucking god!
Then like Rick Steiner. Listen, and then Rick Steiner's the guy who's like teasing it, and then it turns out it's Scott that fucks him over.
Yeah. So what the fuck, man? So Rick almost does it twice, and then it ends up being fucking Scott who gets DQ'd. They're dumbasses for that.
They're from Michigan.
Wow.
You know what the Money Incorporated? Morons.
Or like
what the M stands for? Morons.
Or like Bobby Heenan foreshadowed in this episode, anybody can be a valedictorian in Michigan State.
Right.
Bastion Booger can be one.
Yeah. Well, he could.
So.
He's pretty intelligent.
Fucking A.
All right. Well, I don't really have anything else to ramble on about.
Oh, you sure? You had some airtime cut out there. Are you sure you didn't want to get anything?
I don't, asshole. Go mowing the damn lawn 4 fucking times a week. It still blows my mind.
Well, hey.
If anybody wants, if you guys want to share your thoughts on this episode, sure, we usually tape about 6 of them, in advance.
Whatever.
We'll get to them eventually. So, hey, what did you think about Flair Perfect? If you haven't mentioned it to us before, what do you think about it now? Maybe I'll make a post and be like, Flair Perfect. I know we already fucking talked about it, but what do you think about it? Because Austin's really determined on saying it's a top 5 match or top 3 or the best fucking match we've watched, which is a straight bullshit.
I would say top 5 match of the year so far.
There's no way. So year, like on Raw or in general?
On Raw. Raw.
No, you're still incorrect. I was hoping you would say overall, and I would have to.
No. I would say on Raw.
All right. Well, if you agree with Austin, or if you agree with me, and you better listen to me, You better agree with me. I will shut this down so fast. You can go to the Facebook page, IcoPod, or send us an email at icopodcast@gmail.com. And then I will only share the ones that agree with me. If you say anything positively about Austin's opinions, whether it be the Quebecers, Flair, Perfect from January, I will probably just delete the comments.
And pretend it never happened.
Yeah, and you will not be there.
Right.
So it's fine. I will likely even create dozens of Facebook profiles to just bash Austin. So that will probably be what's going on. So if you see like Joe Schmo or something, or, you know, Tim Timberland, that's probably one of my Facebook accounts that I have created just to trash Austin.
Sounds about right. It sounds about the level you'd stoop to, Bob, to defend. Although you've jumped off the boat with a couple of your guys, so maybe.
What boat have I jumped off of?
Come on.
Which ones?
Fucking Bob Backlund for one.
Well, Bob Backlund, yeah, I did jump off the boat on that one.
You're off the crush boat.
Well, I might jump back on
if
he's hating Savage.
No,
I'm with the crush one. I'm hanging off the edge.
No,
my feet are hitting the water, but I'm trying to pull myself back up.
You're hanging on by an octopus tentacle.
Yes.
Okay.
And mind you, those are slippery.
Right, and then Tatanka, you're off the boat.
Listen, we haven't even seen Tatanka in like forever on Raw.
Right. Hopefully he's fired.
No, he better not be fired.
The Bam Bam boat, are you still hanging on there?
I'm on the Bam Bam boat.
Because he hasn't been doing shit lately.
I'm on the Bam Bam boat.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm on the Adam Bomb boat.
Me too, even though that's pretty much sunk. We don't ever fucking see him on TV.
Yeah, we don't see it. I'm on the Ludwig Borga boat.
Oh, fucking A. That one needs to be blown up.
I'm on the Quebecers boat.
Yeah, we'll see how long. We'll see
forever.
How long,
forever and always.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Well, probably at this point, the one of the greatest theme songs ever will be playing, and that will be of the Quebecers. And just like how they are not Mounties, I want it to be known right now that IcoPod is not a radio show. It is a podcast. So we are not DJs. We are podcast hosts.
Okay.
I just want to clarify.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome. Well, you know, they're not Mounties. We're not radio guys. It's a podcast. We get no advertising revenue, despite the fact that we have 6.8 million listeners. No advertising. All the plugs that we put on here, we could have charged these people thousands of dollars. And we just brush it off like it's no problem. Like Wrestling 20 years ago, a podcast I'm on quite often. See, right there, I just plugged that. I probably could have charged them thousands of dollars.
It's the kindness out of our hearts.
Yeah, but I didn't do it.
Right.
So what am I thinking? For shame. All right. Well, I think that would wrap up episode 37 of IcoPod. I'm Bob Collins Jr. I was trying to fake out a freeze. Did I trick you?
Yeah, I was wondering what the fuck you were doing.
Yeah, buddy. Okay. For Austin Skinner, I'm Bob Collins Jr., and this has been IcoPod.
You gotta hear it.
Try to run, but you can never hide. Unlike the Mounties, we always get our man. We're handsome, we're brave, we're strong. 'Cause we enforce the law. You can try to run, but you can never hide.